I went to the butcher the other day and look what happened. I ended up with 16 kilos of black Angus short loin.
If you ever come home with the whole cow, I'm out of here.
Don't give me any good ideas here. Before I start disassembling this, I want to talk a little bit about bovine anatomy. Here we have the spine of the cow, and up here that would be the rib section of the cow that extends here. And then when we come down to this end, this is where we have the sirloin section, which is where the picanha is hiding.
That's why it's called short loin.
Exactly, because if that was attached, it would be called a long loin.
Oh, okay.
And here you can see that these guys, they have done a really good job because they have left the whole tenderloin here. Most processing plants, they would just take a bandsaw and cut off the sirloin, and then you would lose this part of the tenderloin. But here they left it. So these guys, they know what they're doing.
So the butchers didn't butcher the poor animal.
Absolutely. And down here in this end, you can see the New York strip steaks that we will show you how to carve out later. First, we want to take out the tenderloin from this. But in order to do that, we have to remove some of all this hard fat so we can see where to cut so we don't destroy any of the good meat. So most of it, you can actually just pull it off. It's very loose. With all that removed, we can see where the muscle attaches, and you can actually see here, you can almost pull it off by hand like this, because there is a layer of fat in between here. And up here on this end, if you loosen it a little bit along the bone here with your knife, then you can follow that silver skin down here so we don't destroy the tenderloin. Because we want to get this one with, that's called the side muscle of the tenderloin. We want to get that off also. So slowly, slowly, and it releases. There, ladies and gentlemen, we have an untrimmed beef tenderloin with the side muscle on. In the industry, this would be called a pismo. That is a peeled side muscle on.
I am already dreaming about the recipes we're gonna make.
Oh, there is a lot of good eating in here. Now let's get this trimmed up before we move on with the rest of the short loin. And here we have the side muscle removed, and that's going to be good to cut up in small pieces for stir fry, or you could put it into minced meat or something like that. But that's also a beautiful piece of meat. We're going to save that separately. And then we continue cleaning up our tenderloin. Nice and clean, beautiful 2.3 kilo tenderloin. That's a gorgeous piece of meat here. Now, we could cut this into thick filet mignons like this, but we're going to do something different because we want the center cut here as a whole roast, and then we will leave the tail end here for medallions. And this we might cut into filet mignons, but we will see that later. So we flip this aside. Don't you think about here's right? It looks like it, yeah.
More or less there it has the same thickness.
Yeah, exactly. And then we go to about here, I would say, a little bit more, there. Then we have a nice center cut for a beautiful roast. This we will cut into medallions when we take it out of the freezer. I don't want to cut it now. And this we will save and maybe make into filet mignons. Now we have to get the New York strip out of here. And I'm going to have to do it the hard way because I don't have a bandsaw, and I'm sure my wife wouldn't like if I bought one.
For sure not.
But if you had a bandsaw, then you would cut the bone here, all the way down, and then you're left only with the feather bones on each side, which is the one that makes the T in a T-bone or a porterhouse. But I will have to peel off the muscle this way. So first, I'm going to make a guide cut here so I can see where, and then in the other end, like that. So we have a guide. Let me lie this down. It's heavy. Let me try and turn it around so I can show you better what's happening. It's difficult for me, but easier for you. Then I'm going to cut down all the way through. I have guide cuts to get this off. There's a lot of good meat in here. But down here, remember, we had the 3 ribs. So now I might need my hook actually to pull this out. And up we go. And cut out the ribs. And I'm emphasizing here, I am not a butcher. This is purely hobby.
Just so you sure, honey?
Just so people they don't start bitching on my knife skills here. But there's a lot of good meat in here. I'm going to trim off some of the fat, and then we will save it for minced meat. Now we have access so we can get our New York strip out of here. And we do that by peeling back the muscle from the bones. And then with our knife, we follow the bone down as close to the bone as we can. And that way we can get out in one big whole piece.
That's a hell of a job.
No, it's good. It's okay. It's an interesting process, I think. We are getting a lot of bang for our buck here when you buy it like this, actually, compared to buying it from the butcher shop. Now we have it released all the way down, and then we're going to flip this down like this. And then we do the same with these. These are the feather bones. So we're going to do exactly the same here. Follow along the bone. When both sides are released, then I can peel back the muscle like this and release it down here. So bend it backwards and get the last attachment out.
And what are we going to do with all these bones there?
Oh, we're going to cut them down and break them up, and then we're going to make bone broth and beef broth and what have you not. That's going to be good.
So they're not throwing anything?
Nothing. Only that hard fat from the beginning, but all the rest will be either minced meat. I might clean out some of it and put it in mince, and then use the bones for broth, but that's the plan. Now it's almost released, and there we are.
That's a big
One whole New York strip. We just need to get it cleaned up. A butcher, he would for sure trim the fat cap in whole because it's faster. But since I am not that, then I will cut them into steaks first because then it's easy to see how much fat is on each steak. I'm thinking 2 fingers, what do you say?
Yeah, that's perfect.
2 finger steaks. I might go for a bigger knife here actually. Yeah, I have to. It's not big enough. Good, I have many. And now I'm going to show you a look at a beautiful New York strip steak here. If that is not gorgeous, I don't know what is. And now you can see that it's easier to trim the fat when you can see exactly how much you have, so you don't over trim, because you want to leave some kind of fat cap on top of your steak that gives you a lot of flavor when we're going to grill these. And then we move on with the rest. 2 fingers again. Absolutely gorgeous. There we have them, 17 beautiful New York strip steaks.
Honey, I'm hungry. What you gonna make for me?
How about steak with mushroom sauce?
Delish.